Perfect. And with me today, I have Jen and Bob. How you guys doing today?
We are lovely. Excited to be here.
Amazing. Jennifer, where are you?
I'm based in Orlando, so Florida.
And Bob?
I'm in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada.
Oh, this is great. We have the wonders of modern technology, huh? We can host one of these events with people all over the North America area. And Bob and Jen, do you want to give us a little bit of an introduction? Who you are, what do you do, so we can get started with the visuals.
Yep. So my name's Jen Kennedy. I'm a business development manager for HX, Hurtigruten Expeditions. I've been fortunate to work with Carlos and the team here at Luxury Cruise Connections for a few years now. Hands down, my favorite group of experts. One of the things I love is that the team is so diligent, always learning about new destinations, always learning about the experiences that their partners offer. And I think that really benefits your clients because when your team recommends whether it's an itinerary or a destination, they know that it comes with a lot of consideration, a lot of expertise. So you have a great team there.
Amazing. And Bob?
Okay, my name is Bob Van Beers. I've been with HX for about 3 years now, and I work 6 to 7 months a year on board the ship as part of the expedition team and traveling to all of the amazing destinations that we travel to.
Amazing. So these are your profile pictures. That's awesome. Should have had that up as you guys were talking. All right, that's fantastic. And I am Carlos Edery, and I'm the CEO of Luxury Cruise Connections. For those that this is the first time that you're joining one of our events, we do this every so often. We try to do it kind of at least once or twice a month. And we do different formats. Sometimes we just do informational events. Sometimes we do trivia events like today. And I see some names that I hadn't seen in previous events, which is fun. And I'm very much looking forward to today because we're going to be hosting a trivia event together with HX. HX is one of our incredible expedition partners. They've been doing this for a long, long time. Our relationship has grown tremendously in the last couple of years as expedition travel has just exploded. As Luxury Cruise Connections, just a little clip on us. Obviously, we're a luxury cruise agency. We focus on luxury cruises and expedition. And our team of experts are always here to help plan our clients' vacations in a very personalized manner. We're not a call center. We're not just an online travel agency. We like to create relationships. That's what we're all about. And we like to basically get to know our clients while our team is extremely knowledgeable about destinations and about the ships and the different cruise lines. I guess we like to pride ourselves by saying that they're experts at the client. We really get to understand what our client needs so that we can better recommend what's the right expedition or the right cruise for them. And so we work very closely with our cruise line partners. Obviously, like I was saying, HX is one of our incredible partners. And we've particularly gotten together today so that we can host the event. In a few minutes, I'm going to share with you guys the prices and kind of the format of today's event. But as we get started, I wanted to thank you, Denise, for pushing that. This is kind of how we're going to work this out. We're going to push a pop-up like this. In this case, have you done business with Luxury Cruise Connections before? And you would answer yes or no. Same format that we're going to use for the questions in the trivia. They're going to be multiple choice questions. You're going to be able to choose the right answer. And then we'll tabulate the answers based on the different attendees. And we'll let you guys know who the winner of the trivia is. Good. So most of you guys have done business with us in the past. But 11% of you guys have not. So that's good. I have another poll, another question that I'd like to ask our guests before we get started with the event. Have you ever done business with a HX? So Denise is going to push that question in just 1 second. There you go. Have you ever sailed on HX before? Have you ever sailed on HX before? All right, we're going to allow a couple of seconds for you guys to answer this question. 75% of you guys so far have not sailed with HX before. That's great. That means that we have an audience that is ready to learn about HX and its destination so that we can get you on board one of those ships very, very soon. Looking forward to that. So let me just end this poll. And without any further ado, Jennifer, want to share with us a little bit about the world of HX?
Yes. So as Carlos mentioned, we're a small ship expedition company, essentially just taking travelers to some of the most remote destinations in the world. We have trips that range anywhere from 7 days all the way up to a 94-day pole-to-pole trip. And if you're looking at this map closely, you can see some of the routes that we actually sail. So if you just look at those gray lines that are kind of hugging the coast, you'll see, we're up into Alaska, Arctic Canada, through the Northwest Passage, Greenland, Iceland, Svalbard, down into the Galapagos, which is our one warm weather destination, Chile, and then of course our #1 destination, which is Antarctica.
Sorry, I had muted myself. Amazing. And a little bit of the history. Tell me where you guys come from. What's behind HX?
So, I mean, really, if there's a takeaway, I think from today, like it's these three kind of pillars that make up like who we are as a brand. The first one, we're the leaders in expeditions since 1896. We were born essentially on the Norwegian coast, had our very first sailing up to Svalbard almost 130 years ago. And you can actually see an image of the ship that we used, MS Lofoten, on the left of this slide here. So that's a photo from our very first expedition. And we came up alongside some really incredible Norwegian explorers. You had Amundsen, Nansen fighting to get to the South Pole, the North Pole, across the Northwest Passage. So I think it's safe to say that with 130 years of experience, that sense of adventure and exploration is like in the DNA of everything we do. We're made for curious travelers. Expedition always tends to attract guests who want to experience, I think, the destinations through the local cultures, through wildlife, and through being in nature. We have a robust lecture program on each itinerary, and guests are able to attend those, learn the history of the destinations, and go a little more in depth, maybe, on the wildlife there. And then, lastly, we are the leaders in mindful adventure. We truly believe in leaving a destination as good, if not better, than how we found it. We were the first to have a battery-powered hybrid cruise ship, the only one in the industry, and that ship was actually awarded the most sustainable cruise ship in the world. So it really is something that we take really seriously, not only when it comes to the environment, but in terms of working with the local communities as well.
Amazing. So obviously you guys are here today because you're not just a cruise line. I mean, you guys have a lot to offer, and we're going to talk about like what you guys offer on board. But I think I'd love to share with our audience today what is the relationship between science and HX, and like why are we doing a science trivia with you guys today?
Yeah, so I'm sure people were really wondering, why we chose a science themed trivia. And it's really going to be the state-of-the-art science centers that we have on the ships. They really are like the heart of the ships. Our dedication to science and research is such a integral part, I think, of the experience for the guest, and something that sets us apart in this expedition space. We host researchers and scientists from various institutions around the world on board all of our sailings. There's actual live research taking place on every trip. And so we will have these science dedicated zodiacs that go out every day, weather permitting, of course. And the guests who are a little more curious, a little more hands-on can actually sign up to go out on these science zodiacs. So they'll be with members of the expedition team, as well as the scientists. They'll observe them collecting like water samples, and they'll have an opportunity to kind of collect their own, maybe make their own observations on wildlife, come back on board, come back to the science centers and analyze them. We have over 20 citizen science projects that are part of our itineraries, and we're going to actually talk about a few of those alongside the trivia today. So I think it'll give you an idea of the type of work you can contribute to when you travel with HX.
That's great. And now if hopefully we'll have an opportunity to get people excited about traveling with HX. And if we do so, they're going to want to know what would be included in a typical HX itinerary.
So we are an all-inclusive experience, and so that's going to include all the typical things that you would expect, your food, your beverages, your drinks, and that's throughout the entire day, not just with meals. But we also include, experiences, your daily landings. There will be some premium experiences that come at additional costs. An example of that would be, say, in Antarctica, if you wanted to camp on the ice overnight, that would be an additional cost. And then, of course, all your expedition gear, you get your expedition jacket at the beginning of the trip. It's yours to use for the trip and also yours to take home. We'll also provide you with boots, those muck boots that you need to do some of the landings in these delicate ecosystems. We'll provide those for you, yours to use for the duration of the trip. So you don't have to worry about packing, any of that big bulky equipment. And then, of course, the Wi-Fi, that's included, no additional cost, Starlink Wi-Fi across the entire fleet.
Amazing, amazing. So, and this is more of the science. How do you call this space?
It's a science center. So this is just an image. I wanted everyone to have an opportunity to see what the science centers look like on board our ships. It's not just a term that we're throwing around casually. We really are committed to making this part of the experience. So you can see this entire room is dedicated to that. We have the 2 tables with the microscopes on board. So we'll have samples, we'll have skulls, all from animals that are specific to the regions that you're traveling in. So if you want to study things a little more closely on your own, or if you go out in the science zodiacs, you can then come back and analyze some of the samples you collected using these microscopes. We'll have talks, we'll have lectures as part of this experience as well in the Science Center.
I just want to take a second to say, like, one of the most typical questions that I get from our guests when they ask, like, why should I choose this cruise line or the other? I think this is a great point to highlight. When you have this very particular interest to go a little bit deeper than just the surface of what you would see and at any of the destinations, and that when you travel with HX, you're going to get an opportunity to do so, just explore a little bit beyond, not necessarily geographically speaking, but like to really go deep into understanding where you are and your surroundings, right?
Exactly. That's one thing that I think that we really hone really well, and experience that we provide, and our expedition team really second to none in assisting with providing this in-depth scientific approach to the expedition.
Awesome. And so let's get our trivia going. How about that? You guys ready? Yeah?
We're ready.
Awesome. So for a little bit to recap on the format, we're going to be pushing the little pop-up quiz poll in your screen. And I'm going to ask the question. You guys are going to see it on the screen in just 1 second. I'm going to give you guys about 40 to 50 seconds to answer the question. Once I get a majority of you guys answering, and then we'll stop the timer. We'll let you guys know what the correct answer was, and we'll keep tally of the different attendees that are answering the question, so that we can then decide who gets the first, second, and third prize. So the first prize is going to get a $100 Amazon gift card. Second prize, a $50 Amazon gift card, and third prize, a $25 Amazon gift card. Good luck, everybody. Hopefully, well, you're gonna need a little bit more than luck to win this. You gotta actually know the answers. But if you have some basic science knowledge, you should be able to win. So let's see. Right, Bob, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go. So question number 1. Which animal is known as the canary of the seas? There's the pop-up, sea leopards, seals, beluga whales, or penguins. Which animal is known as the canary of the seas? We got 56% of you guys answering, 60% of you guys answering, 24 seconds to go. I'm sorry, 28 seconds in, 10 more seconds to go. 69% of you guys answered. Good. 4, 3, 2, 1. Ready or not? Here we go. And the correct answer is beluga whales. About 38% of you guys got that right. Bob, can you please elaborate a little bit more and educate us on this?
Yes, yeah. The reason that the beluga whales are called the canary of the seas is because they produce like many different sounds, including like whistling sounds, squeals, like chirps, clicks. And because of like the wide variety of sounds that they produce, they are nicknamed the Canary of the Seas.
Amazing. And this itinerary that we're seeing on our screen right now, why did you choose this itinerary in relationship to this question?
This is one of the itineraries that travels through like the habitat of the beluga whales, as they are primarily found in Arctic waters. And the itinerary that we see on the screen right here is one of our itineraries that we operate in the Northwest Passage. This is a trip that I've been fortunate enough to do twice myself, once in 2022 and once in 2023. And the one that we're looking at right here is a trip that starts in Nuuk and then crosses over to Pond Inlet, and then you travel through Arctic Canada, like the historic Northwest Passage route, and visit like different communities along the way, places like Yohaven, Cambridge Bay, Ulugaktok, Pond Inlet, and really like be immersed in the destination. But one of the reasons that we like chose this specific itinerary is because of our partnership with the citizen science organization called Happy Whale. You can see the logo in the bottom left corner. And this is a citizen science project aimed on growing and developing the understanding about the whales and dolphins that are found not just in the Arctic, but like around the world. So anytime that guests take photos of any of the whales, they can upload those through Happy Whale, like through like the app. And then they have special software to identify the whale, similar to like how we humans have a fingerprint. The fluke of a whale is like a fingerprint. Each of them have like unique markings, and the scientists can use that to identify which specific whale this is. And the photos provided then help scientists understand the migration pattern of these whales throughout the year.
That's very, very cool. And this is a 26-day itinerary, and I'm going to give everybody a little bit more perspective. This Northwest Passage is a bucket list item for some people in the world. Very few people have had an opportunity to do this trip. And in fact, this is a trip that wasn't it wasn't even a possibility a few years ago until the right ships were, I guess, built to be able to take guests, like, you know, through this passage. And so many people like look very much forward to being able to cross this one off the bucket list, because it's only happens a couple of times a year, and not a lot of cruise lines will offer this sort of itinerary. It's very special, and obviously, if you're into whales and you want to do you know, something very unique, this itinerary is definitely gonna be something that you can rave about for many years. All right, awesome. Let's see. Next question. Hold on. There we go. What is the rarest color in the Northern Lights? Green, purple, red, or blue? We're gonna push the play in a second. There we go. Hold on. One second. Sorry, you guys got some extra seconds there. Did we push it?
Yeah.
What is the rarest color in the Northern Lights? Green, purple, red, and blue. What is the rarest color in the Northern Lights? All right, 54% of you guys answered. Any last answers? Let's see. Let me see them. All right, 3, 2, 1. Good stuff. So the correct answer is red. Red is the rarest color in the Northern Lights. Only 33% of you guys answered that one correctly. Bob, can you educate us, please?
Yes, yeah. The green Northern Lights is like the most common one, like the ones you see in the photo right here. And then if you look closely, you'll notice some reds in there as well. So like the Northern Lights are caused by magnetic storms that have been triggered by solar activity. The different colors are formed at like different heights, and the red color is created when solar particles collide with oxygen at high altitudes, usually about like 150 to 200 miles above the Earth, so like significantly higher than the green ones, for example. And they are very rare, and the red ones, and the red is an indication of intense solar activity. So only if there's like a lot of activity, when you see generally like very green, bright lights as well, that's when you might be fortunate enough to see the red Northern Lights as well.
Amazing. And if I want to go check out the Northern Lights, what itinerary do you recommend?
The itinerary that you see on the screen right here now is a new itinerary that we will be launching in 2026 on board the MS Spitsbergen. This is a smaller ship with about like 200 guests maximum capacity. And this is a trip that departs and ends in Tromsø, and then it visits like 4 distinctive regions along the Norwegian coast. All 4 of these regions are located north of the Arctic Circle, and you can see them circled on the map right here. So it's a Lofoten, Vesterålen, Senja, and the Lingen Alps. And this is like a spectacular trip to see the Northern Lights. I previously worked as a Northern Light guide up in the Yukon and the Northwest Territories. But I think really one of the best ways to see the Northern Lights is from the ship. Like with many of the other excursions, guests have to stay up all night looking at the sky, hoping that the Northern Lights will appear. If you don't see the Northern Lights, like usually people like sleep in the following day, having been up all night. Whereas with these expeditions, you have the advantage. If you want to stay up all night and look at the sky, you can. But if you just want to go to bed and then wait for like an announcement to be made by reception or made from the bridge that the Northern Lights are visible, you hear the announcement in your cabin. You can quickly get dressed, grab your camera, and then make your way to any of the outside areas of the ship to view the Northern Lights. So I think that really like allows for like more experiences throughout the day as well. Like people are not like sleeping half of the day because they were up all night hoping to see the Northern Lights. Plus, this itinerary really gives like a great opportunity to experience everything that Norway has to offer during the winter months, including like the zodiac cruising, the nature landings, activities like snowshoeing and such.
The typical question I get asked when somebody is looking to go see the Northern Lights is, can you guarantee that I'll see the Northern Lights?
Like any like natural phenomena, we cannot really like give a guarantee that people will be able to see the Northern Lights. But I've done our Norwegian itineraries 4 times, and on each of these 4 trips, we were able to see the Northern Lights. And we are generally like so confident that during an 8-day expedition like this, that guests will see the Northern Lights. That in the event that there will be no Northern Lights visible and no announcements are made, guests will be eligible for a future cruise credit up to $1,300 per person for any future expeditions with HX.
There you go. So that's very unique also to you guys. By the way, for those that don't know this, and I'll just share 2 seconds of this. HX is a spinoff of another company called Hurtigruten. And Hurtigruten, well, they still gonna call themselves Hurtigruten Expeditions, but HX is their official North American marketing name. Let's put it that way. And they've been sailing this region of the world longer than anybody else has ever. So if this is an area of the world that you're truly interested in exploring like nobody else, then that's another reason why we want to choose HX to do so. You guys agree? Jen, Bob?
Absolutely, yes. Like, in fact, like the name Hurtigruten refers to like it means the express route or fastest route in Norwegian. It's because when Richard Witt offered the first coastal service all along the Norwegian coast, it became the fastest route to travel from one community to the next community along the Norwegian coast. So that's where like the name Hurtigruten came from. It refers to like the new fastest route to travel along the Norwegian coast over 130 years ago.
There you go. So, all right. So next question. Ready? How do blue-footed boobies get their blue feet? A, genetics. B, diet. C, pigments. D, bioluminescence. Let me see those answers. I guess I have a feeling that we have a couple people that have gone to Galapagos before, and that might learn this before, because I'm seeing a good amount of you guys getting this right. Actually, I take that back. We got 61% that have answered so far. I'm going to give you guys 6 more seconds, and then we're going to close this poll. 2, 1, and most of you guys answered genetics. It is the most, I guess, logical answer, but the correct answer is diet. Can you share, can you educate us, Bob?
Yes, yeah. So the reason that these blue-footed boobies have these distinctive blue feet is first of all, it's an indication that they are well nourished, because the brightness increases by like the amount of foods that they take. It's like a pigment that's found in the foods that they eat. So like the more like visible the color is, the more they've eaten, and the more vibrant the color of their blue feet are.
Amazing. So, and let me take you guys, in case you're interested in seeing these beautiful birds, where can I see them?
So this is a bird that's commonly seen on our Galapagos itineraries. And we have 3 different itineraries that we operate in the Galapagos, and they can then be further customized with different like pre and post experience. But they're basically divided in like an eastern, a western, and a northern route for the Galapagos. All of these trips start in Quito with like 2 nights of hotel accommodation in Quito to explore the city. And then there is a flight to the island of Baltra, where like guests will embark on the Santa Cruz Dos, which is the smallest ship in our expedition fleet. It's only 90 guests maximum capacity. And then the guests will go on the itinerary to explore like the different islands. So like the one that we see on the screen right here is a trip that goes to the islands of San Cristobal, Santa Fe, Santa Cruz, and Espanola. And then the Eden Islet towards the eastern end of Santa Cruz on the map right here. And these are like truly like spectacular itineraries. This is a trip that I haven't done myself, and one of the reasons for that is for the Galapagos, to ensure like a authentic experience, and to make sure that the local economy really like benefits from these expedition cruises. The Ecuadorian government requires all of the crew on board, from like captains, officers, expedition team, housekeeping, engine room, everybody on board has to be Ecuadorian. But I was just talking to one of my colleagues this morning, and she's actually in the Galapagos right now with her partner, and she was also saying like it's a spectacular itinerary. People go there to see like the Big 15, as you can see in the bottom of the slide right here. And like the thing with these 3 different itineraries is they each have like different animals that like you can see there's some overlap, of course, between them. But if you have guests that really want to see like a specific animal or a specific bird, take a look at our website and see. We have like an overview chart to see which itinerary is the best to see this like specific animal or specific bird that people are hoping to see. And this is also why we highlight the eBird citizen science project for this. Like through eBird, guests can take photos of any birds that they see. They can then upload it through the app with like the GPS coordinates of where the photo was taken. And then people can like identify the birds. It goes into a database where, okay, like how many sightings of this specific bird were seen in this area right here. And it helps also understand like how many birds are in a specific area, what their migration patterns are like. And it's an extremely valuable research tool for scientists that are researching bird population and migration.
Very, very nice. Amazing. Super exciting. Looking forward to visiting the Galapagos also. I haven't done it myself, and I'm really looking forward to doing it. But let's go to our next question. Which animal is found exclusively in Antarctica? Which animal is found exclusively in Antarctica? A, fur seal. B, Gentoo penguin. C, minke whales. D, emperor penguins. Which animals is found exclusively in Antarctica? Let me see those answers. You got 25% of you guys, 40% of you guys have answered so far. You got 20 seconds to go. And let's see. We got interesting answers all over the map on this one. We got 6 more seconds to go. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's see. All right. So the right answer, which animal is found exclusively in Antarctica? Emperor penguin. Good job, guys. 58% of you guys answered correctly. So if I want to go to Antarctica, or Bob, can you educate us on this answer first?
Yes, the emperor penguins is one of the 18 species of penguins that exist today. And they are the largest of the 18 species. They can grow about 4 feet tall, or about the height of like a 6-year-old child. And their weight fluctuates quite a bit throughout the year, but can go as high as 85 pounds. So like a very large penguin species, especially when you compare it to like Adelie, Gentoo, chinstrap, like some of the more common penguin species.
Beautiful, beautiful. And if I want to see penguins, want to go to Antarctica, can you tell us a little bit about the itinerary?
Yes, yeah, the itinerary that we featured here is the highlights of Antarctica expedition. This is our most popular expedition to Antarctica. Some of the other itineraries that we do are like longer, up to 23 days. But for most people, like 12 days seems to be like the preferred length for an expedition like this. So this trip starts in Buenos Aires. So guests will fly to Buenos Aires. They will have a night in a hotel in Buenos Aires, followed by an early morning transfer to the airport for the charter flight to Ushuaia. Then upon arrival in Ushuaia, guests will have like a tour of like a national park with a very nice buffet lunch, and then they will be transferred to the pier in the like mid-afternoon, arrive at the ship around like 3-4 p.m. for embarkation. And then late in the evening, the ship will then depart through the Beagle Channel to eventually get to the Drake Passage around midnight. The ship will then spend 2 days on the Drake Passage to reach the Antarctic Peninsula, where guests will have like 5 days that are like jam-packed with activities like landings. So the guests will use Zodiacs to go from the ship to a landing site where they can then walk around. Expedition team members will be there to share like knowledge and information about what there is to see. Sometimes it's like a penguin colony we might be looking at. Sometimes it might be a like an historic site from like a former research station. Sometimes, for example, in case of like Brown Station, it's an active research station. In this case, like a Argentine research station. So very like diverse landing sites. We will also take out like the Zodiacs and go like for scenic cruises where like we're able to get up close to like glaciers, icebergs. You will see like penguins jump out of the water, like you see in the photo in the top right, right here. And just like amazing close-up experiences with these the zodiacs. Like each zodiac will have 10 to 12 guests in them, usually like 10 if we use it for like scenic cruising, and then one expedition team member or a member of the deck team and a guide. So really like close-up experiences where one day you might be on the water with a marine scientist. The following day you might be in a zodiac with a historian. So like lots of like diverse information that you will be learning from the expedition team members while being out on the water.
Amazing, amazing. All right, up to the next question. Which Icelandic bird mates for life with the same partner? A, puffin, B, snowy owls, C, white-tailed eagles, D, ravens. Let's see those answers. The poll is up. We got 30% of you guys answered so far. What a great picture you have there, Bob. I love it. Iceland is just one of these crazy destinations. And it's interesting, which Icelandic bird mates for life with the same partner? Let's see, we got 60% of you guys answered. 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Ready or not? Here we go. All right, and the right answer is puffin. 77% of you guys got this one right. Good job. Talk to us, Bob.
Okay, so the correct answer is the puffin, indeed. And what's interesting with the puffins is that they spend a very big part of their life out at sea, but then usually late April, early May, they move back to land. And like in this case, Iceland, they will then return to the same burrow, and they will meet up again with the same partner year after year. Every year, there's about 8 to 10 million Atlantic puffins that return to Iceland, which is about 60% of the entire global population of Atlantic puffins. So like a very large share of the total number of puffins can be seen in Iceland. And it's a beautiful bird to see. They're often seen on like rocky shores, like close to like the landing sites where we go to, and it really allows guests to get like a close-up view of these beautiful birds.
Amazing. And the itinerary that we have up in the screen right now, the circumnavigation Iceland. What a great way to see Iceland, huh?
Yeah, this is a very nice itinerary. This one starts and ends in Reykjavik, and it's a full circumnavigation of the island. So it shows like very diverse regions focusing on like volcanoes, glaciers, waterfalls, some like very remote places where we will take the zodiacs out, some like cities like Akureyri, which is considered like the capital of the north, and one of the best places to go out for like whale watching experiences. Heimaey, which is an island in the southwest. It's a very impressive site because a big part of the island got covered by lava during a volcanic eruption that took place in 1973. And you can see how like the eruption took over part of the island, and there's still like houses and just parts of the town buried underneath the volcanic rock that can be seen right now. So a very impressive destination to see as well. And it is probably one of the narrowest entries into any of the ports that we go to. In fact, like it's the port itself is so narrow that the ship can only go in one way, and then inside the port there's no space to turn around. So the captain actually has to back up the ship until we get outside of the island again, and then turn the ship around. So it's an amazing experience to go in and out of the little bay where the harbor in Heimaey is located.
Wow, amazing. Amazing. All right, ready for the next question. Let's see. Which animal outnumbers people in Svalbard? Which animal outnumbers people in Svalbard? A, Arctic fox, B, polar bear, C, Arctic reindeer, D, walrus. Let's see what the answer is. So far, we got 47% of you guys, 52% of you guys have answered so far, 20 seconds in. Come on, I want to see that number at least over 60. I want to see all those answers in 57, 61%. Great. Perfect. So 30 seconds in. I'm going to give you guys 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Ready? All right. Somebody put in their last answer right there at the last moment. And 36% of you guys answered the walrus. And the right answer is polar bear. Educate us, Bob.
Yes. So not everybody might be familiar with Svalbard. It's a very remote archipelago belonging to Norway, and it is known as a great place to see polar bears in their natural environment. The polar bear population is estimated to be around 3,000. And there's only 2,500 people that live in the archipelago. So like the citizen science project that we have partnered with and that we like to highlight for this is Polar Tech. And they don't focus just on polar bears. They focus on like different animals found in the polar region, so both the Arctic and Antarctica, where certain animal species are tagged. And then when guests photograph these animals, and you can see the number on the tag, that can then be used to help identify like the migration patterns of these animals as well. So the itinerary that we have here on the screen now is an itinerary that we offer on 2 different ships, the MS Fram and the MS Spitsbergen. So like again, 2 of our like smaller ships. It's an 11-day itinerary where we attempt to completely like circumnavigate the archipelago. This is an itinerary where we really highlight that it is a attempt, as the exact route that we can take is subject to like ice conditions when we travel through these areas.
Amazing. Awesome. Ready for my next question. We got 3 questions to go. So let's see. Which microorganism is responsible for nearly 50% of all oxygen on Earth? Let me try to not kill these words here. A, Colwellia. B, phytoplankton. C, metanotrophs. D, glacicola. Glacicola. Sorry. Bob, how did I do with that pronunciation? Did I screw it up?
I believe it's Glacicola. So I think you had a correct pronunciation.
Okay.
There, yes, yeah.
All right, good. So let's see. We got 50% of you guys have answered this question so far. We're 34 seconds in. Come on, let's see your final answers. A couple of you guys, I know that you want to get this one right. Let's get those answers in. There we go. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. The correct answer is, just like 69% of you guys answered, phytoplankton. Can you educate us, Bob, please?
Yes, phytoplankton are very important for a number of reasons. It's a tiny algae, and they form the base of the aquatic food web. So like they are very important as like the diet for like shrimp, snails, jellyfish, and krill. But they also produce around 50% of the oxygen on Earth. So very important both as like the base of the food web for anything living in the water, as well as the oxygen that we all need every day. And phytoplankton is also known as microalgae. So that's like another term for it. So for this, we have partnered with a citizen science project called Fort Phyto. And this is a science team that aims to better understand the impact of climate change on the melting sea ice. Like in Antarctica, we can really see like how climate change is affecting the ice conditions all along the peninsula. And like true citizen science projects that we do together with the guests that include like taking water samples, lowering a Secchi disc in the water, using a CTG device to measure like environmental conditions like the seawater, the salinity. We can analyze the amount of phytoplankton in the water. And like as we mentioned earlier in this presentation, like Jennifer mentioned, the microscopes that we have in the Science Center. When we take the phytoplankton like water samples, we actually take them to the Science Center and we look at these samples under the microscopes. We can connect one of the microscopes to the television in the Science Center so like guests can see everything on a big, large screen, making it very easy for our onboard expedition team as well as the guest scientists to really like take an in-depth look at these items and share these experiences with the guests and help them develop a better understanding of what they are looking at.
Very, very cool. Awesome. Ready for the next question. We got 2 more questions to go. So this one and one more. What organization works to protect birds and their habitat around the world? American Bird Observers, National Audubon Society, Ornithology Society, iFly Birdwatching. 1 second. Did you push the ball?
Yep.
Okay, there we go. Now it came up. My screen. Perfect. All right, good stuff. We got 55% of you guys answering this one. Seems to be an easy one. 30 seconds in. And 4, 3, 2, 1. 60% of you guys answered correctly. Can you tell us more about this, Bob?
Yes. This is a partnership that we are very excited about. The National Audubon Society has been working to like preserve habitats and conduct like scientific research for a long time. They are like a very well-respected birding association with a very active membership base. And as of July of this year, we have an exclusive partnership with the Audubon Society. So like there are like exclusive discounts to members of the Audubon Society. And together with the Audubon Society, we have developed 10 different itineraries that are specifically branded as the Audubon voyages, with an even stronger like emphasis on the birding throughout the voyage. And like one of these itineraries is what we can see on the screen right here. This is an itinerary that I've been fortunate enough to do 3 times myself as well. And this is a trip where like if you look at most of the ships that go to Alaska, like as we all know, there's lots of companies that offer trips to Alaska, boats like expedition ships as well as like the bigger like regular cruises. But most of them will stay in the area between like either Seattle or Vancouver and like the Seward, like Anchorage region. Whereas with this itinerary, guests will go as far north as Nome. And like this trip that we're looking at right now is the southbound voyage. So guests will fly on a charter flight up to Nome, where they will then embark either the MS Fridtjof Nansen or the Roald Amundsen. And then they will travel through the Bering Sea to like St. Matthew Island, St. Paul. And then they will cut through the Aleutian chain and visit like Dutch Harbor and Alaska, Unga Village, which is an abandoned village site where nature is slowly taking over the entire village again. And then I would say these like next 2 destinations are 2 of like my favorites landing sites, like destinations that we've been to and where we take the Zodiacs out. Like Katmai National Park, we go out and look for brown bears. We had a day last year where we saw 16 brown bears feeding on like salmon along the shoreline there. Guests were able to see the bears like you see in the photo in the bottom right, right here. Just seeing the bears like feed on the salmon. We will then cross over to Kodiak Island, where we will again go to like a remote island, like a remote bay to look for the Kodiak brown bears, which are known to be some of the like largest and well-fed brown bears in the world. We will then continue to Icy Bay, Sitka, Wrangell, and then we'll make our way into Misty Fjords. Again, a beautiful like remote locations where we are able to go deep into the fjord system there due to like the small size of our ships. And then we will lower our Zodiacs in the water and go even deeper into the fjord and look at like remote like coastlines and like see beautiful waterfalls out there and like a truly like remote and like beautiful experience out there.
Which is the difference which is the difference between a traditional Alaska classic cruise and an expedition cruise, right? You got those Zodiacs you can explore a little bit in a different way.
Exactly. Yes, and like really be like immersed in the destination rather than like the heavier focus on the different port cities that the larger ships tend to have.
All right, awesome. And last question of the trivia. The driest place on Earth is a desert in which country? Peru, Egypt, Chile, or Namibia? The driest place on Earth is a desert in which country? Peru, Egypt, Chile, or Namibia? And we got 45% of you guys, 50% of you guys have answered the question. 25 seconds in. All right, it seems like many of you guys know the answer to this question. I'm impressed. And 4, 3, 2, 1. Ready? Let's go. The correct answer is, drum roll, Chile. Wow. 57% of you guys answered Chile. I'm impressed. Tell us, Bob, why is Chile, why does Chile have the driest place on Earth?
Yeah, like the interesting thing with Chile is that it's such a like long and narrow country, as you can see on this map right here. Like the Chile stretches out almost 2,700 miles from the north to the south, while like being only 40 miles wide at the narrowest point. So like a very diverse eco system. The driest place is the Atacama Desert in Chile, where some areas have zero rainfall since they started recording the weather observations there. But like despite it being like so dry, the average temperature in the area is about 65 degrees Fahrenheit there. So like a very interesting country with like the diversity. Like you have like the dense like forests, you have like the glaciers, like the Patagonia like fjord system and mountains, and like truly a spectacular destination. So this itinerary that we have here is a 15-day itinerary. Takes place before the start of our Antarctica season as we move our vessels south. So like this one is scheduled for October 17th for next year, starting in Valparaiso and then traveling all the way to Ushuaia at the southern tip of Argentina. This is a trip that I was on board for just like a month and a half, 2 months ago now, like early November. And one of the most spectacular destinations for myself was the Bernardo O'Higgins National Park that you see circled on the map right here. We lowered our Zodiacs in the water right here and went for a spectacular Zodiac cruise, going up close to the glaciers, and had a beautiful experience cruising near the Amelia Glacier in the national park.
That's fantastic. Definitely a very unique way of exploring Chile, not the typical way most people travel to Chile. You know,
Yeah, and what I like with this one as well is the at the bottom of the map you see Cape Horn, and this like Cape Horn is such a like rich like history and was like feared by like seafarers for such a long time, and even nowadays with all of the modern equipment found on board ships and all of the advanced navigation equipment, it is still like a very challenging area to travel to because of like the different currents coming together there. It's said that there are about 800 ship wrecks that are in this area, and more than 10,000 sailors found their watery graves here. And this is, if conditions allow, a place where we will try to actually land and take the Zodiacs ashore and visit this remote lighthouse where like a small family lives with their children. And like you get to meet the lighthouse keeper, and like a truly unique experience as well.
very, very, very cool. Very cool. All right. So we have we're at the end of our trivia event. And you know, even though we have a winner and we have a first, second, and third place, I'm gonna rumble for a second because I'm letting Denise finish tabulating all the results here. But aside from that first, second, and third place, today everybody gets to win something, because all of you guys that attended today's event, in addition to those prizes that we're gonna get to the first, second, and third place, you're all gonna get a $300 onboard credit per cabin if you book a HX itinerary through Luxury Cruise Connections within the next 2 weeks. So obviously, the intent of today's event is, on one end, to test your knowledge in science, of course, but also hopefully we've gotten you a little bit excited about trying HX. Like I said, this is might be a new brand for some of you, but it's a company that has been doing this for a long, long time. And if you're interested in exploring these destinations in a little bit of a different, unique, exploratory way, where you're going to have fun, you're going to enjoy, but you're also guaranteed to learn a lot. And if that's the kind of trip you like, then I highly recommend you guys taking advantage of a $300 shipboard credit with HX that you guys are going to be able to take advantage on your next cruise that you book within the next 2 weeks. And by the way, if you guys are planning on booking a trip for next year, you should really be thinking about doing so before the end of the year, because prices tend to go up on January 1st, well, the first week of January. And that's kind of the common theme across the entire cruise industry, because cruising has been hotter than ever, and expedition has been hotter than ever. And I highly recommend you guys taking advantage of this in the next couple of weeks. Denise, do we have the results? Yes?
Yes.
All right. So allow me to mute myself so that you can.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay. Okay. So congratulations. First prize, it's for Melissa Michael. Melissa, I have your email, but
Yay.
I guess Ruben said yay because Ruben is your advisor, I guess. Second prize is for Deborah Bruce, and third prize is for Dan G.
Yay, Dan.
Ruben, way to go. I'll send you that
Congratulations.
between today and tomorrow. Congratulations, guys. Thank you so much for participating.
That is great. Let me just wrap this up for a second. Amazing. Thank you so much, the winners, for participating, for enjoying, having fun. Hopefully you did have as much fun as I did. Jennifer, Bob, tell me, what do you guys think? Did you like the event?
I think it was fun. It was fantastic. And, you know, Carlos, you did great. Bob did great. So, I mean, I kind of cheated. I already knew the answers to the questions, but I still thought it was fun.
That's why we didn't count you for the prize.
Not for lack of trying.
Amazing. But I really want to thank you guys. But by the way, before I let you guys go, does anybody have any question about the itineraries, about the different trivia questions we had, about HX in general? We have Bob here with us. We don't get to have Bob with us all too often. So if you guys feel like putting him on the spot, see if he really knows about science, we just went on Google to, get those questions. All right. It seems like we did a good job explaining. So, I really want to be respectful of everybody's time, and I very much appreciate the partnership with HX and Jennifer and Bob. Thank you so much for coming on and helping us put together this great event. I had a lot of fun. I learned something today. I hope you all did as well. And I look forward to helping you guys try out HX and explore some of these amazing destinations. And I'm sure HX very much looks forward to welcome you guys on board their ships. And together with this partnership, we're going to make magic happen. And we're going to make sure that you guys have an incredible time, not just planning it, but also traveling there. And with that, I want to say goodbye and see you all in the next one. Thank you.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
all very
Great
much.
job.
Having us.
Thank you. Was awesome.
Contact us at luxurycruiseconnections.com.